Now, when I talked to Destiny, I brought up some things that are very basic, agreed upon facts about how politics works. It's full of narratives, it's full of half truths, it's full of promises about the future. Um, you have to make idealistic promises. You're going to be presenting a vision for something. It's really subjective. There is no, or there is close to no perfect truth in politics. I think this made some people really upset in his community because they have a really idealistic version of what the world is. They have a view of the world congruent to Bernie or Buster's in the sense where they think populist democratic theory actually takes hold. So, populist democratic theory is the idea that voters are going to participate in a democracy in a very well educated way, in which they judge like policies and they vote in politicians based on like what is going to benefit them. It assumes voters act rationally. This is something like Kyle Kalinske would agree with because he assumes if he makes his correct policy arguments or if he makes his, good moral arguments, he assumes people are going to vote for him. He doesn't really look at the social and cultural and emotional factors that drive people to vote in different areas. A lot of Destiny's community seems to avoid that fact as well. When I said this to Destiny, he got really upset.
Well, if what you're saying is true, then at that point I don't give a fuck anyway. I don't care if Americans die because of dumb fucking shit in a video game or whatever. Like, if your argument is literally, everybody is so fucking stupid, we have no ability to have real conversations about this anymore without just going up and grandstanding the fuck on stage, and we have to hope that even though they're lying and saying a bunch of really dumb shit, hopefully, once they've gotten the support of all the people that bought into those lies and dumb shit, they're gonna be content with them doing a total 90-degree swerve into a more pragmatic policy. I reject that wholesale, okay? I would be fucking communist or fascist or anarcho, whatever, before whatever fucked up version of democracy you subscribe to. I would completely piece the fuck out of that.
And he basically said, well, if people are that dumb, I don't care anymore. I don't care if Americans are dying or whatever. But the thing is, people aren't dumb. People are tired. They are working their butts off. They are deprived. They have responsibilities. They got to put food on the table. They got to do a lot of different things other than pay attention to politics. Even people who study politics, even politicians, billionaires, all these people, even they don't truly know what's going on. We need to be pushing in the right general direction because people are going to be manipulated by politicians and other, propagandists. People will be manipulated to act against their own interests. So, for me, as somebody who cares about helping people, I need to gear my rhetoric in a way that lets people know I'm fighting for the issues they care about in a positive way. I need to be responsible in doing that. I agree. I can't just use empty populist rhetoric and allow, people who are, I don't want to use the term fake populists, but people who are illiberal, I don't want to give them any power, but we need to be able to actually play this game a little bit. Because if we don't play this game, then the entire system is going to fall apart because a bunch of literal just conspiracy theorists who are never going to talk about policy or anything to do with reality in general, a bunch of these people are going to take over in government. Politics has been full of what I'm talking about for its entire existence, and just negating that and saying it's not even a thing, that's totally wrong. Now, I'm not advocating for justifying any means to reach my end. I'm not advocating for that, but I was getting strawmanned as doing that because bringing up absurd hypotheticals is a great way to try and just discount my argument altogether, which is an argument, by the way, that I presented, and every person in actual politics would agree with. I'm not talking about conspiracy theories. I'm not talking about leading people away from fact and leading them away from solutions. I'm not talking about empty populist rhetoric. Overall, the appeals we make need to be grounded in fact, and they always need to come back to a true issue that is present in a system. Let's say Katie Porter is gonna do her whiteboard presentation, like she did with the pharmaceutical company. The thing Destiny got mad at. She attacked the company and she moralized the company, making the company an enemy. Destiny sees what is happening as more of a policy failure. I know he agrees there is a policy failure happening, although he sort of stood up for the pharmaceutical industry in America for some reason because, own the lefties. But there is a policy failure in America. He doesn't want Katie Porter to moralize this company and attack this company. He wants Katie Porter to go up there and talk about policies and only talk about what legislation needs to be fixed. But you need to set a narrative to get things done in politics. You need that company to be, the enemy. You need some type of emotion for voters to really, really care about something. So Katie Porter, the way she presented that argument, making the company seem as if it's a moral being, although that may make Destiny mad. That is actual that's how you become. That's how you be effective in politics. I agree. If we have a policy debate, come with actual solutions, but that isn't gonna happen in real political engagement. It's gonna be a lot of rhetoric. It's not gonna be perfect truth. But what Katie Porter did, although it wasn't perfect truth, it was true, her general sentiment here and the message she was giving off. There is a big issue with pharmaceutical drug prices in America, and companies have a lot of leeway. There's a lot of room to negotiate prices and stuff like that. Costs are going up of drugs without any more money going to R&D. These companies cannot justify increased costs other than these are companies trying to make money. That is their justification. And Destiny said that. Why is Katie Porter yelling at these companies for simply making money when that is their job? Yes, I understand if you want to take the amoral economic approach and say every company is just going to, they're going to make money because that's what they do in a free market. Great. You can make that argument in a policy discussion. I agree, largely. But when we're talking in this context, this type of rhetoric literally has no use. Saying like, oh, corporations are amoral. They're gonna make money. I mean, that's what they're gonna do. That's not useful whatsoever. By Destiny's definition of what lying is in politics, literally every, literally every politician is a liar. By that strict definition of perfect truth, everybody is a liar. And Destiny has advocated for this. I don't know if he knows this or not, but he has advocated for what he would consider lying to gain political power. Here's a clip from last night where I go over this. Like, for example, I said, I don't think Medicare for all is ever going to happen as is. I don't think in America we are ever going to have single payer healthcare that completely covers dental and vision. I don't think we're going to have any single payer healthcare like that because it doesn't exist anywhere else in the world. Medicare for all would be the most radical healthcare system in human history to ever be implemented. I don't think that's going to be done, but I do push for Medicare for all because if people get this general idea that we need universal healthcare, then we are more likely to get a universal system that is closer to what is ideal. If we push for Medicare for all, we will be closer to getting a multi-payer system. When I say to people, when I try to sell universal healthcare, every other country in the world has Medicare for all, because I say this to people. Every other country has Medicare for all. Does every other country have single payer that covers 100% of family practice, that covers 100% of assisted living for the elderly, that covers vision, and that covers dental? Does any country have that single payer program? No country has that. But the idea that other countries have a universal system is good. The idea that healthcare shouldn't be for profit is good. The idea that everybody should have healthcare is good. And you try to sell that general sentiment to people. The general views on universal healthcare matter, especially when considering the past 30 to 40 years of American society has been geared against universal healthcare. We have been taught universal healthcare is bad, long lines, worse care, all that stuff. It takes a long time to remove these social and cultural and emotional barriers to progress. And you need to sell ideas in a certain way. And Destiny agrees with this because he has said on multiple occasions, he has said Democrats should push for $15 an hour. Destiny does not think, he does not believe that $15 per hour is a good policy. He has never believed $15 an hour is a good minimum wage to be set as presented. He has never said that it's going to be a good policy, but he advocates for Democrats to run on $15 an hour because he knows that is an ideal policy that is going to get Democrats more political power. Is that lying? Is that dishonest? According to him and his audience, I think that is dishonest based on their definition. Do I think that's lying? No, I don't think that's lying. You're trying to do something that's going to lead to better wages. Even if Destiny doesn't think $15 an hour is better, the general sentiment that workers should be getting paid more now in 2021 or like 2025, which is when $15 would take place, that general idea is good to sell. Democrats passing $15 an hour and running on it is good politically, so more Democrats can get elected. We are in a really bad place right now politically as a country. Democrats, if you haven't checked, are having big issues maintaining and gaining political power in our House and Senate. We are having issues. We are losing House seats. We barely got the Senate. The 50 Republicans in the Senate represent 40 million less people because there are 2 Republican senators per state, and all the Democrats live in the same states. So Democrats are less represented in the Senate. So we need to be able to fight for positions, to fight for policies, to fight for political power in a way that is effective and is going to work. And I know he agrees with me on that. And his audience was saying that I was lying because they wanted to discredit everything I said and muddy the waters. Every policy has negatives and positives. Every single policy has things that are going to be good and things that are going to be bad. When you are running at an election or a campaign to get something popular, and you want your policy to be successful, you know that your policy isn't perfect. But when you're talking about it, are you ever going to talk about the bad parts to voters? Like, yeah, I want universal health care, but it might suck in some areas. That's not going to work. Yeah, I want to fix your roads, but there might be some potholes. I might not be able to do it all the way. People don't want to hear that. People aren't going to vote for that. Every policy is like that. So is that dishonest? Is that dishonesty by some people's standards? I guess so. Nuance, please.